This week in Beyond the Headlines, Bishop John Klein encourages territory to vote wisely.
I would never sit here and tell somebody how to vote and where to vote, but be sensible. Consider the facts. Consider who's before you. Consider what they're saying. Consider whether these men and women have performed or can perform to the betterment of the BVI.
After months of speculating, the date for the 2011 general election was officially announced on Friday, September 23rd, as the Premier took to the podium during the launch of the VIP's 2nd District Representative, Honorable Alvin Christopher. The Premier said that the date of the announcement was within constitutional norms, and the territory was finally informed as to when they would be going to the polls.
After prayers and meditation with a higher power and the one who guides our lives and whom we try to listen to and obey, I intend to ask His Excellency the Governor to have elections when? Anyone want to guess? No. I intend to ask him to have elections on Monday, the 7th of November, 2011.
Knowing the date is one thing. What may be more of a challenge for the territory's registered voters is answering the question, who are you voting for? With several pressing issues facing the territory, residents have begun to speak openly and talk about some of the changes they hope to see the new government usher in.
Well, for this election, I'm hoping that there will be a change in government, number one. There's a whole lot of issues in respect to infrastructure and cost of living, and people can't pay their bills anymore. Some people have to get 2 and 3 jobs in order to survive, and I think the government need to look out for the people, just like a father will look out for his own child.
Obviously a new party in, nothing else. We need change. What they're doing, they ain't getting accomplished as far as I could see.
Them drugs and the thieving, breaking in people's place, that need to stop. That's a big issue right now in this country. Right now it used to be so. 40, 30 years, 25 years, it wasn't like that. You could have sleep with your door open, you can't do it now. They even opening your door, come in and you lock it.
What they're going to do to better our situation as taxi drivers, not only here at the BVI Standard Taxi Association, but around the entire British Virgin Islands.
The government need to come fix the road in Greenland and fix the sewage thing up there, because it's real bad.
The high cost of living, they have to come up with some kind of plan to, decrease these prices in the stores every day, and also the curfew. I need whoever come in, VIP, NDP, PPP, y'all need to come up with a curfew to keep these young people off the streets. So that's why I would really love to see happen in our country right now.
But many, including those who are continuing on their campaign bids, are warning that these changes can only come if the right persons are elected into power. One such person who is encouraging residents to vote wisely and carefully is Bishop John Klein, pastor of the New Life Baptist Church in Dove's Bottom.
I was born here, grew up here. I have a business here. I have a church that I pastor here. The people that I pastor live here. I see their pain. I see their challenges. I know when they are unemployed. I know when their month is more than their money. I just see the atmosphere in which we do business, whether it's favorable for business or unfavorable for business. And all of that is contingent upon the kind of leadership we have on a national level. And so it concerns me not only as a citizen, but also as a bishop in the Lord's church, that we are doing all that we can to move this country forward in the right direction.
Bishop Klein said that whatever happens in the world affects us in the BVI, and he spoke of countries that are on the verge of default for failing to pay their budgets, as well as national layoffs that are taking place around the world. According to Klein, it is important to align ourselves with leaders who see a way forward.
We've got to recognize that we live in a global economy, and what happens in the rest of the world affects us. We are not isolated. So there are recessions, there are countries in the world that's on the verge of default for not being able to pay their budgets. There are national layoffs all around the world in various countries. It is important for us to have leaders that see a way forward. How do we expand and sustain and grow our economy so that our people are not left in a desperate situation of unemployment or can't find jobs? And that is going to be with the alliances that we create on a global level, whether it's in financial services, whether it's in tourism, whether it's in manufacturing, or any other industry that we might deem necessary and applicable to the British Virgin Islands. We need leaders who can go abroad, sit around a table. We need aggressive leaders who will understand that if you graduate people out of college every year, if you graduate people out of high school every year, and you don't have jobs for them to come back and apply for, if you can't create employment or expand and grow the economy and create a demand for work, create a demand for services, that eventually people who are unemployed, broke, will turn to a life of crime. And what we will have as a result of, instead of peace and order and prosperity, we will literally have anarchy and crime growing in our country. And I think that is one of the foremost pressing things, that we elect leaders with vision, not just who could talk, not just who you're familiar with, not just who did something 10, 20, 30 years ago. We need leaders with vision in this day.
A call was made for persons not to go to the polls and vote for family or friends, but to look deeper at what the candidates are actually saying and whether or not they are in a position to help build the BVI.
It is important for BVI Islanders, I believe, to recognize that they should not vote for somebody because it's their friend or their family, or they have been there for the last 10, 20 years, or they give you a ham or a turkey or a fridge. That is no reason to vote for someone. We need to pay close attention to what people are saying. What is their message? It is, I think it's very defeating to the political process when someone could underperform or not perform at all for 3 years, and in the last year, or not even the last year, the last 6 months of that 4-year term, all of a sudden they're concerned, act like they're concerned about the people. They show up to funerals, they show up to graduations, they show up to this, and all of a sudden these invisible men suddenly appear. And you, the citizen, the voting citizen, who have complained for 3 years, 3.5 years, all of a sudden is converted and believe that they're going to do something different? Come on. They're not going to do any different. All they want is your vote. They want to get back in that position, but to do what? They do very little with it. And so I would say, no, not this time. I would encourage the citizens of this territory. Tell them not this time. Look for candidates who have vision, number one, who are speaking like they know what they're saying and not just telling you they're concerned about the people of the territory. All of us are concerned about the people of the territory. I don't mean all of us should run for election. Those who you believe really have the ability to make some of the things happen.
Bishop John Klein said that if the people of this country will take seriously this election and consider their candidates very carefully, then they would go to the polls with a very clear decision, knowing where to put their X.
We need to elect a team of people that's going to move this country forward. It is critical in this election that we do so. I know there are people out there who are party loyalists, so it doesn't matter what the party does, they will not vote for another party. That's stupid. It's downright stupid. I don't know how else to say it. It is just so nonsensical that you are so loyal to a party that no matter what they do, you still vote for them. It just doesn't make sense to me. You could be my friend, you could be my family, you could be whatever. You could be in politics. I am not going to vote for anybody that I feel have not displayed the best interests of this country. And that's what I believe the sentiments of our people should be.
Klein said that while he will never tell anyone who to vote for, he will encourage them to be sensible, consider the facts, and consider whether or not these candidates can perform, and more importantly, will perform for the betterment of our society. This is Walter Barrett, Beyond the Headlines.